Time, energy, and understanding is what love is. Time, energy, and understanding. See, if you're spending time with a person but never get the actual time to understand what that person is presenting to you, then the energy that you're spending with them is a waste of time. You understand? So you can't say that I love you, but I'm not willing to spend the time for you or with you. I'm not willing to spend the energy to take the time out to do this, that, and the other, or I'm not willing to act on understanding you at the time. See, that's where actually communication comes in the love. See, when you love somebody, you have love, understanding. Well, actually, that would be a fourth component to the love. Number 4 in love would be you will have to have time. You will have to have understanding. You will have to have these two for sure. And then you have to have communication. Communication is also another act of loving. You understand? When you communicate and understanding, when you get an understanding with the person that you're in, a friend, if it's just a friend, you're taking the time to love them, to say, hey, look, I understand you. If I love you, I understand you. See, that's how when you talk in the love language, you got to make sure for a person that ain't familiar with that type of culture, you got to break it down for them. What does that really mean from a person that came from dysfunctionality? Sometimes you have to teach them what it really is. You have to teach them that it's time, that it's energy, that it's understanding, and it's communication. I said it's time, it's energy, it's communication, and it's understanding. All these things make up the component of what we call love. See, most people say, I love you, so I'm going to buy you stuff. That's not really actually love. What a person appreciate more is you understanding them. A person appreciates your energy you spend with them. The person understands that you understanding, you got energy towards them, you're taking time and you're communicating with them. You're expressing that, hey, I understand you, so I'm feedbacking back to your life about these certain A, B's, and C's that I need to know if I'm saying that I love you. When you say you love someone, you're saying that I'm willing to take the time to understand. I'm willing to take the energy to take the time. If it's going to take energy to take time, then I'm willing to get an understanding, and I'm willing to communicate back to you that I understand you. That's what makes friendships go well. That also makes relationships of all sorts go well. See, some people, truthfully, if you put those 4 things together, you'll see people that tell you, I love you. You'll see it whether they love you or not. Do they take the time out to spend with you? Yay, nay. Do they spend energy with you? Do they take the time out to understand you, whether far or near? People can have long distance relationships and they still have time. They take understanding, they have energy, and they have communication. They have an understanding that, look, here, I love you with my whole heart. You got to understand stuff. You got to understand that when you tell somebody that, then things will begin to work on your behalf like never before. When you love someone, when you love, they had songs back in the old day that taught those fundamentals. They told you when you love someone, they gave you the attributes of what you do when you love someone. Some of y'all need to go back and listen to them songs that they came up from and learn a little basic fundamentals on how to do what you ought to know how to do. Hello, somebody. You ought to know when you love someone that you got to do some certain qualities. You got to become a doer. You can't just say what you gonna do. You got to show that, hey, I'm going to take this energy. I might not feel like it right now, but I told you I love you, so I'm willing to care about you. That would be number 5. Number 5 is care. You understand? So number 5 in love, see, when you say I love you, now you're also saying I care about you. Do you see what I'm saying? So now you got, let's go back over it. Number 1, you got time. Number 2, you got energy. Number 3, you got understanding. Number 4, you got communication. Number 5, you got caring. You see, again, number 1, if you love somebody, you're spending time with them. Number 2, you're taking energy with them and spending energy on them. Number 3 is you're actually got an understanding with them, whether far or near. Number 5, understanding, or number 4, understanding, and number 5, I would say, would be the last one that I just said is caring. So if you caring, if you got those 5 things, that's what makes love come. Love is all of that, because you can have communication, but if you ain't got no time, if you ain't got no energy, if you ain't got no understanding, and you ain't got no caring in you, then you ain't loving. You can just have communication, but you ain't got the rest of it. You're not willing to put the time in. You understand? To make someone, to show yourself. If it's friendly wise, you're not making the time to do that in the way that it needs to be done. Or if it's when you're in a relationship, you got to make time for things to happen and have an understanding. You don't have to have no third party dictating what you're doing, because that's what you do. They can't tell you how you do it. It's like people in the military, they go off seas and do a whole nother assignment, but they still love them to a certain degree. You understand? They love them. They understand that I put my time in when I was with you, and I'm gonna put my time back when I get back. Hello, somebody. I'm gonna put my energy in it. I'm gonna put my understanding in it. I'm gonna put all of that in it to make it loving. So when you love somebody, you're gonna have all that. You're gonna care. So if you love, you say I love you. You can't use that word loosely. See, you can't say that I love you, and then you can't say that I know about love if you never actually had nobody spend no time. If nobody never spent energy, nobody never spent time to understand you. Nobody even communicated with you in a certain way. Nobody never cared about you in a certain way. See, you have to know that that's what the definition of love is. Let's get the definition of it correct so we can understand how to operate it in it now. And these are fundamentals that one needs to know. In other words, fun is something that you could pay for. You can pay for stuff that would be healthy for your mental. Fundamental. Okay, it's fun for you to find information that's going to be healthy for your mental stability and your relationships and friendships. If you fun, you may not know how to precisely do what it is that you do, but you can pay for someone else to help you through it. You can get consultation. You can get counseling in that area that'll help you learn the basic fundamentals on how to fund your mental. And I understand how when you're funding your mental, now you can understand the thing that you're seeking after. And if your thing is that you're seeking after love, no, I wrote a song a couple of years ago to say you can buy her anything, but you can't buy her love. You can buy her anything, but you can't buy her love. See, it ain't what you buying. You can buy her anything, but if you buy it and be like, look, I ain't gonna take no time for you. I don't care about what you're doing. I'm just buying you something. Anybody can buy you something, but don't care about you. Does that mean that they love you? No. You sow love, guess what you'll reap? You'll reap love. You'll reap. Yeah, see, God not mocked. Whatsoever man soweth, that shall he also reap. Even into the aspect of that. If you show God that you love him, he will help you love everything. You will reap love. You will reap love. If you show love to God, then you will reap love back. If you love in God, who's loving you? They had a song that say that. Who's loving you? If nobody's loving you, God is loving you. God is loving you. So I want to encourage you today to seek after guidance and concerning this area. As I said, I've seen the results on the news, and it showed me that, they said, what is the secret to marriage? And most of these people probably was people that were married. They said communication, but the secret to marriage is love. And it was very few people, because that's why very few marriages survive. Very few friendships survive, because it wasn't based off of love. It was based off the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eye, and the pride of life. So when you build your relationship off the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eye, and the pride of life, then you know that it don't get no effect. You think it's in it because of what they can do for you sexually or something. That's not love. That ain't love. Sexual needs is not love. That's only a part of it, but that's like sacred. See, you don't do that part unless you about to be married. Hello, that's a sanctimony. That's a holy thing. That ain't something to be played around with. And so people get to go on buku when they do it, because they find out that, hey, you said that you love me and all this, and I let you do this, that, and the other, and they go on buku. Why they going buku? Because you supposed to learn the fundamentals of who's loving you. You got to understand, when somebody loving you, they not just going to do anything in your way. Hello, somebody. You got to understand that you can't just let everybody slip in your ear and tell you that they loving you. If they loving you, then you got to be like, prove to me that you loving me. Hello, somebody. You got to prove. You got to ask somebody. You got to not only ask them, but it's tell them when you talking and communicating with a person. Talk to me and tell me what your definition is of love, so I can make sure that we got an understanding. First of all, when you're courting and doing things, and when you're trying to have a relationship and looking to take it further, one of the things you want to do is ask each other, what's the definition of love? That's the first thing that you need to be communicating. What's your thoughts on love? What do you think love is? And then the other person say, this is what I think love is. And then you will understand if y'all got an agreement. If y'all can agree to that y'all on the same term right there, then y'all